Hi there, ladies and gents. It is finally time that we take a look at the priority of the specs, according to my opinion, that should be playable in Legion. Coming up at number 11, the one and only, the Demon Hunter. If you don't know, the Demon Hunter has two specs, a tank and a DPS one. And the only reason that I put Demon Hunter at number 11 it is because of the hype train that's going on around this class right now. There are going to be the majority of the player base that would want to play Demon Hunter. And if you were around during the days of the Wrath of Lich King, you would be probably seeing this type of phrase going on a lot. No more decays. As it happened back then, when the first hero class was introduced into the game, this is going to be the case once more. The Demon Hunters are not going to be welcomed in raids because there are going to be a huge number of players that would roll Demon Hunter. So if you're preparing to roll Demon Hunter, just keep that in mind. Otherwise, it's a fantastic class. I would probably and obviously play Demon Hunter, but it's so low at this list because, again, the people that are played Death Knights during this time, and I was one of them, they would probably remember this. No more decays for the group, no more decays. And the same thing would happen with the most requested class in this game. Coming up at number 10, the one and only, the Monkey Monk. Although the monk the tanking spec of the monk had a highly representation amongst the top end guys during mythic progression in the Hellfire Citadel tier and in the Blackrock Foundry, with the guard scaling up to 1,000,000, I wouldn't probably level up the monk at the start of the expansion because, to be honest, I didn't really like the playstyle of the monk, although I know it's getting an overhaul, but I really didn't like how it felt and why I should play this spec. It didn't give me a reason why. Although, to be fair to the guys that are playing the monk, it's looking pretty good, guys. Although, for me, I would level the monk at the very end. Coming up at number 9, the one and only, the Warlock. I'm pretty sure that many of you would really love to play the Warlock. And why shouldn't you? I mean, the Demonology Warlock is going to be insane. It's going to be amazing to play. Affliction, pretty good. Destro, Fire Mage. But still, the Warlock is a class that, if you have seen my origin video, it was the first class that I've ever made, but it felt, I don't know, I really love playing my Warlock, make no mistake on this, but is it really a class that I would like to represent or be represented in Legion? I don't think so. But for you guys that really love the Warlock, 2 thumbs up, and I'm looking forward to see your comments on the Demonology Warlock, which is really a brand new spec. You can literally say that it's the most amazing spec in Legion so far. It's brand new, it's excited, it's everything you have ever dreamed. But for me, the Warlock is at number 9. Coming up at number 8, the one and only, the destroyer of Archimond himself, the Mage. I don't know actually where to start with this guy. I mean, it's been a blast. Arcane had such a huge representation in this expansion, and Fire was amazing. I did a video, if you go back into my videos, where you see that a Mage was doing a 600k DPS in an hour fight, a Fire Mage. It's amazing. Although with the combustion now gone, as the spell as it used to be, The Mage is at number 8 for the solid reason that I have never invested my time in the Mage. I have done some things with him, I've done some bugs, I've done some PvP, but I really didn't feel the power of the Mage as some other guys have, and I totally regret this because it is an amazing spec. And should you guys want to roll a Mage, I mean, go for it. If you want someone which is a fucking ball of death that suits Phoenixes, that is doing insane DPS, go for the Mage. But for me, the Mage is at number 8. Coming up at number 7, you know him, you love him, the Shaman. Although the Shaman is taking one of the most lore heavy weapons in the history of this game, Shaman is my number 7 character. Because, to be honest with you guys, I have really enjoyed the spammy feeling of the chain lightning and the shockwaves, not the shockwaves, the earthquakes, the totems, but the niche of the Shaman that we have developed and loved all these years is now gone. As you know, or may not know yet, but Shaman's got 0 totems, I would like to say, at the new expansion, and they have kind of shifted from the idea of the Shaman as it stood for the past 10 years. This is something that I didn't particularly like, but taking this into account, I can just say that the Shaman, with the new Maelstrom things that's going on and all this crazy bullshit that Blizzard has put in this lovable class, is going to make the spec exciting for someone that has really loved the Shaman. But since I have played the Shaman in a server that was like how it was meant to be, with the procs, the random procs of the Wind Fury, where you can just one hit anything that could just dare to walk beside you, the Shaman didn't have the same feel as it used to. But if you enjoy playing the Shaman, go for it, guys. But for me, Shaman is a number 7. Coming up at number 6, the one and only, the Hunter. So if you're following Legion information closely, you couldn't just be possible to not hear about the Hunter. And Blizzard has worked its best to make the most funniest spec in the game a Hunter. So basically, you might like to be survival. It fucking sucks right now, as it stands. You want to be a marksman. Good for you. But BM is the way to go, and they have done tremendous thing about the BM. Not only you're going to get 2 pets, with both of them have Beastal Wrath on them, but you are so focusedly involved around your Dire Beast and your Soch and your I don't know what else, that it absolutely destroyed all the other specs of the Hunter. I mean, I know that they wanted to make survival a little bit better, because to be honest, the only way you were going to play survival for it was PvP, and that was at the beginning. When you start gaining some gear, you would see that BM was far better choice, and they are trying to make this spec the easiest spec to play. If you really enjoy playing the Hunter, no doubt, I am a side. I do enjoy playing the Hunter, but for me, the Hunter is number 6. Coming up at number 5, and it pains me deeply, the one and only, the Death Knight. The Death Knight, for me had such a flavor in this expansion, with defiles, with I don't know, with your diseases, with how the set bonus from the Hellfire Citadel tier worked with your active mitigation. It was amazing. This is the class that I really enjoy playing with when I did some packs. It is one of the best tanks there is right now in the game. You can't kill a Blood Death Knight going all out in the arena. Trust me, I have tried it. It is so difficult, it is so nice. The Unholy Death Knight, which is going to get an Abomination as a pet. Wow. I mean, wow. Good. But as you have probably seen, the whole tanking classes are kind of destroyed right now as the tank world is standing in the Legion beta. For more information on this one, I would suggest you take a look at the Preach Gaming video about the tanks. But the Death Knight is a class that I would surely level up in Legion. And if you really enjoy the Frost and the Unholy aspect of the Death Knight, I do myself. And I would probably get the freaking Abomination for me and the first Regat. But as it stands right now, Death Knight is number 5. Coming up at number 4, the Master of Shapeshift, the one and only, the Druid. Druid, and especially the bear form, is, I don't know, Blizzard has quietly nailed it, the Guardian aspect of Druid. The DPS, even as a Boomkin or as a Feral, is and was there, and Feral and Moonkin are one of the most hard-hitting classes in the PvP world right now. But there was the problem with the restoration. Although it was a very good healer, and the niche of the restoration, it was that, well, you know, we are the raid group healers. This is something that either you accept it and you love it, or you can't be a disciplined priest. Okay, let's take the other way. You cannot be a disciplined priest. You are just there to spam Tranquility, the Wild Growth, the reduce occasionally on the tanks and the healers, the DPSers. Although you got some great utilities, but I really didn't like the fact that, well, as in a raid, as it stands in a raid, I am the raid group bitch. Although, as from the DPS standpoint, it is crispy. The tanking is good, not the one in Worlds of Draenor, but in Legion. It is very good, and the whole idea of the talent tree of both your artifact weapon and your talents as talents is amazing, and especially the Guardian Druid. And I would really love to take a closer look at the Guardian Druid, but as it stands right now, and personally for me, the Druid is at number 4. Coming up at number 3, this was a difficult choice, but at number 3 I would put 2 classes. The one is the Paladin, because Asmrigger, okay, and the other one is the Rogue. Well, as it stands right now, and again I suggest you take a look at the video of the tanks, Paladin, the worst thing you can have for PvE. Although for PvP, dude, it's crispy, it's nice, it's efficient, it's effective. At the tank perspective of things, you will no longer have holy power, because if you have the force bonus, you use your Avenger Shield, you use it so often, it procs so often that you just don't need holy power. If you don't know, the force set says that your Avenger Shield has a 50% chance to have its cooldown instantly reset when used. And this thing procs a lot. So you don't need holy power. So holy power is gone. But the iteration of the protection paladin, it is designed with the holy power in mind. So it feels a little bit clunky. The DPS standpoint, again, Ashbringer, nothing else. The holy paladin, well, healing as a paladin wasn't my thing, although I have tried it at the Blackrock Foundry. But to be honest with you guys, it wasn't something that I would have personally chosen to start the new expansion with, because healing is something that, although I really love to heal other guys, it's Holy Paladin feels way too strong in certain fights and in certain occasions. But if you're outside the windows of your cooldowns, you just got 2 beacons and you just heal a 3rd target. Now again, I said that I would put at number 3 the Paladin and the Rogue. Why the Rogue? Although the Rogue has been my main for the Warlords of Draenor, and it was the class that I had the most fun playing with, especially the Assassination Rogue, which, to be honest, is the Huntard of the Rogue, because you have nothing else to keep in mind and to track rather than your rapture. You get no slice and dice, you get nothing. But the Rogue was the king for me for this expansion. He had such a high representation amongst the raiding teams, and to be honest, it is a fun spec to play. But as it stands in Legion, with the whole RNG type of your procs in the Outlaw Rogue, the Roll the Bones thingy, which if you are extremely lucky, you are going to get every buff that this thing can give you, or if you're extremely unlucky, you're going to get a heal over time. Jolly Roger. The Rogue, although there is this ever changing pace of the spec of the Outlaw, I don't favor RNG that much. Although I will definitely level my Rogue. I will definitely do it. I have seen that the sub-rogue is gaining some pretty cool shit. As it stands though right now in the Worlds of Draenor, I know it was one of the best specs to play. If you done your rotation correctly, you could get extremely good DPS output, and for that I really enjoyed it. But in the long run, the Rogue and the Paladin are my number 3s. At number 2, ladies and gents, we are getting closer. It is the one and only, the Priest. Although I feel a little bit biased with the Priest since it was my main for many years, the changes that Blizzard has made on both Discipline, Holy, and obviously Shadow are tremendous. The whole idea that you're gaining tentacles and shit, and you just can get a haste value of absolutely insane, with everything being so spammy. You are having so much haste that your cooldowns are basically a global cooldown, making the Shadow Priest one of the most funniest and greatest specs ever put in the game. If someone told you about the Shadow Priest right now, they would have been described it as the Shadow Priest as it stood at the beginning of the Burning Crusade. The hype is so much about the Shadow Priest, and they have managed to nail it with the 10-minute cooldown of Surrender to Madness, where you're generating insanity so much, such a crazy bastard, and you're just doing everything you can to maintain yourself in this insanity, where if you don't, you're going to die. Such an exceptional talent. The Holy, which is getting a complete, not a complete, but a very nice overhaul, is losing some of the bullshit thing that has right now, the chakras, although they had their uses, don't get me wrong, but many people couldn't grasp it. Although I would have to give a shout for the Saving Grace, the most overpowered talent that existed in this game, and Blizzard managed to nerf it into the fucking ground, but it's still the best one you can get for PvP. The whole idea of the priest and the idea of the discipline being a hybrid, I know that many people would be put off about the idea that you have to keep atonement up and DPSing targets, but this is something that you will get used to. Okay, this is not something that is impossible to do, because it's not, but you have to keep in mind that this is something that would bother you. So as it stands right now, the ability of the priest to be in god mode as a DPS and as a healer, for me, puts it at number 2. And now for the final one, ladies and gents, the only character that is there for me, and I would probably, with a probability of 99.9999999%, the character that I personally play in Legion at the beginning of it is the Warrior. And to be entirely honest with you, why wouldn't you want to play the Warrior? Not only the Warrior is gaining a graphical update on Charge, Whirlwind, Bladesword, it is a lot of fun playing with this guy, although I have to say that the tanking artifact weapons look shit, the first iteration. The other ones look okay, but the standard one you're going to get, it's trainable. Fury is such a spam spec, you feel like a furious motherfucker going to go in there and smash the head of everything that's moving around. Arms is arms. You are still going to be gated behind the Colossus Mass windows, but hey, okay, if you're playing right now arms, you have been playing arms since the Cataclysm, you have probably get used to it. I'm really new to the Warrior class, and I haven't played with a Warrior before Warlords of Draenor, but I really enjoyed it, and I've never thought that I would have so much fun with the Master Tank class. The tanking's perfect, the DPS of the Fury is there, and it is awesome, and the arms, at least he gets a nice cool looking two-hand sword. So guys, this is for this video. The last four numbers and from the countdown was the hardest actually to choose, because I really enjoy playing with my Paladin. I literally love my rogue. Priest is always in my heart, and the Fury Warrior has now taken its place into the pantheon of the best classes I have ever had the opportunity to play. But as it stands right now, unless nothing else changes in Legion, which I don't know, Blizzard decides one day to do the same thing as they did in the Warlocks, the Demonology Warlock in the Warlords of Draenor, they say, fuck it, we just don't want you to play Fury or Arms. Unless they do something crazy like that, the Warrior will be the class for me. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed my video. Please feel free to leave your comments with what is your personal class, what would be your countdown from 11, and I hope to see you again. Bye bye.